Before nations existed, before languages divided the earth, before the Most High repopulated the world after the flood, there was a moment when creation itself was violated, a moment when the boundary between heaven and earth was crossed by beings who were never meant to descend. The ancient world was still pure, still aligned with the rhythm of the Creator. But in those days, something entered the human story that would alter the destiny of generations. Enoch records the moment with piercing clarity when the sons of heaven saw and desired the daughters of men. This was not love, this was rebellion, a theft of order, a theft of purpose, and a theft of identity. The Watchers descended and brought with them forbidden knowledge, knowledge that humanity was never meant to carry and never meant to know. They taught them charms, enchantments, and the cutting of roots. With every secret they revealed, the world drifted further from its original design. This is the first identity theft, not of land, not of culture, but of humanity's original identity. And as corruption spread, even the heavens reflected the disorder. Enoch writes, "In those days the angel Uriel said to me, 'Behold, Enoch, I have shown you everything, and I have revealed to you that you should see this sun, this moon, and the leaders of the stars of the heaven, and all those who guide their paths, their duties, timings, and departures. In the days of the sinners, the years will be shortened, and their seed will be delayed on their lands and fields. All things on the earth will change, and will not appear at their proper times. The rain will be withheld, and the heavens will hold it back. During these times the fruits of the earth will be late, and will not grow at their proper times, and the fruits of the trees will be delayed in their time. The moon will change her course and not appear at her scheduled times.' When the rhythm of creation is disrupted, the people connected to that rhythm lose their sense of who they are. This is the ancient root of identity theft. This is where the battle first began. When the corruption of the Watchers reached its peak, the earth groaned under the weight of what had been unleashed. Violence filled the land. Innocence was swallowed by chaos. The fabric of creation strained under the pressure of a world no longer aligned with Yahuwah. And in that moment, the Most High intervened, not out of anger alone, but out of mercy, to preserve the original design before it was completely erased. Enoch records the divine command with sobering clarity. 1 Enoch chapter 10, verses 20 through 22 reads, "And destroy all the spirits of the reprobate, and the children of the Watchers, because they have wronged mankind. Destroy all wrong from the face of the earth, and let every evil work come to the end, and let the plant of righteousness and truth appear, and it shall prove a blessing. The work of righteousness and truth shall be planted in truth and joy forever, and then shall all the righteous escape, and they shall live till they beget thousands of children, and all the days of their youth, and their old age they shall complete in peace." The flood was not simply destruction, it was restoration, a cosmic reset, a cleansing of a world that had been rewritten by forces that never should have touched it. The Most High washed away the corruption so that humanity could begin again, free from the counterfeit identity that had been forced upon it. But even after the waters receded, even after the earth was repopulated, and even after the righteous line continued through Noah, the battle over identity did not end. Because the spirit of the giants, the offspring of the Watchers, remained on earth as wandering, corrupting forces, Enoch explains that these spirits would influence humanity from the shadows, whispering confusion, distorting the truth, and shaping cultures in ways that would lead people away from their original identity and purpose. This is why identity theft is not just a historical issue, it is not just a cultural issue, and it is not just a social issue. Identity theft is spiritual, it is ancient, it is intentional. And the same forces that corrupted humanity before the flood are the exact same forces that later manipulated history, language, labels, and narratives, all to disconnect a chosen people from who they truly are. This is where the teaching begins. This is where the revelation unfolds. This is where we see the shift from the ancient world to the identity battles we see today. When we talk about identity theft today, most people think of stolen documents, hacked accounts, or someone pretending to be you. But the identity theft that began in the ancient world was far deeper. It wasn't about paperwork, it was about purpose. It wasn't about numbers, it was about lineage. It wasn't about information, it was about destiny. Identity theft in the spiritual sense follows a pattern that has existed since the days of Enoch. First comes mislabeling. A people are called something they are not. Their true name is hidden beneath titles given by others. Their identity is reshaped by those who benefit from their confusion. When a people lose their name, they lose their narrative. When they lose their narrative, they lose their place in the story of the Most High. Then comes misplacement. A people are removed from their land, their culture, their history. Their connection to their ancestors is severed. Their traditions are replaced. Their memory is rewritten. And once they are disconnected from their origin, they become vulnerable to any identity handed to them. Finally comes misdirection. A people are given new customs, new labels, new beliefs, and new stories. Their original calling is buried under layers of confusion. Their true role in the earth becomes unrecognizable. They begin to live out of an identity that was never theirs to begin with. This pattern is not random, it's strategic. It is the same pattern the Watchers introduced when they corrupted humanity with forbidden knowledge. They didn't just teach skills, they taught confusion. They didn't just reveal secrets, they rewrote identity. They introduced a counterfeit version of humanity, one that blurred the lines between the righteous seed and the corrupted seed. Enoch warns of this tactic. 1 Enoch 98:10, it says, "Woe to those who pervert the words of righteousness." When truth is twisted, identity becomes distorted. When identity is distorted, destiny becomes unreachable. And Enoch prophesies that the righteous would one day forget who they are. 1 Enoch 104:10-11 says, "You shall not know your identity, but in those days I will remember you." This means the forgetting was foreseen. The confusion was expected. The identity theft was not accidental. It was part of a long war over a chosen lineage. Identity theft is not just historical. It is not just cultural. It is not just social. Identity theft is spiritual. It is ancient, and it is intentional. And the same forces that corrupted the world before the flood are the same forces that later manipulated history, language, labels, and narratives, all to disconnect a chosen people from who they truly are. But forgetting is not the end of the story, because the same prophecy that spoke of forgetting also spoke of remembering. Before I close this first part, I want you to know that this teaching continues. Part 2 is already available on Patreon. In that next section, we're going to look at how Enoch opens his writings with a message not just for his own time, but for the people living in the final days, the elect, the righteous, the ones who would awaken in the time of tribulation. That's where we step into the prophetic awakening. So if you decide you want to keep going, the link is in the description. I'll see you in part 2. Shalom.